He will be one of you. He is a blue-collar guy. He wants to win. He will do everything he can to try to turn that franchise around.
Great pass catcher, basketball background, athletic. He's got great length, tremendous catch radius. He will be a real factor.
6'4", 270. He sets a physical edge in the run game. Violent hands. Impacts the quarterback in the pass game.
With the first pick in the DML draft, the Houston Texans select
It's your boy Bucky the Bus Brooks, and we back with another mock draft for the 2025 season. Y'all know I don't do these shows alone, man. I got my counterpart, Ray McShay. What's going on, man?
What's going on, bro? 2025, man. Let's see who's gonna mess this top 10 up, man.
Hey, man. I'm real interested to see this mock, and I'm real interested to see how this draft goes, man. So, and I'm sure everybody else is too. So, we're not gonna keep y'all waiting, man. We're gonna dive right into these picks. And of course, like last year and the year before, we have the Buffalo Bills coming in with the #1 overall pick. Now, Ray McShay, the Bills have been a team that has been picking #1 for the last few cycles of the DML. Now, looking at their roster, I'm gonna let you go first. I see you have them taking the standout All-American Jermichael Stackhouse, cornerback out of the University of Kentucky. Tell me why you feel like Stackhouse is the #1 overall pick in the 2025 DML draft.
I don't think he's the #1 overall player, but I think he's the #1 overall player for the Bills. The Bills have a lot of talent. Why he's picking #1, again, is mind-boggling me, man. But he needs a corner. Trey White's getting up there in age. You know, he needs someone to pair with him and to be groomed. He got a really good pick last year at safety. Jermichael Stackhouse was, one of the top corners in the draft. He was heavily talked about throughout the whole college season. I mean, he might not test off, the grades might not be super high like everybody else is thinking, but this kid has really high man coverage, really high awareness, and really high press. And when you can have a corner like that, pair it with the safety he took last year, you need to get some use on that back end. The Bills have been stacking players all cycle, man. So I really hope this player will maybe propel him to not be bottom 5, but I can almost guarantee the Bills will be picking 5 again next year.
Gotcha. Now, I kind of went on the offensive side of the ball, but I really do like Jermichael Stackhouse out of the University of Kentucky. I really wouldn't mind seeing him pair up with the safety that he took out of Auburn last year with Gillespie. Gillespie was the #1 player in that entire draft, I think. But
oh yeah, that was a no-brainer. He should have been booted if he didn't pick him.
Right. So if he goes back to the secondary and picks Stackhouse, I wouldn't blame him. However, when I look at the Bills' wide receiver position, it's lacking with talent, but there's some Asian guys there too. He has Virgil Reese, who he selected a few years ago, who's a superstar. So I got him staying in the ACC and taking Jeremiah Dixon, the little speedy wide receiver out of Clemson University. Now, I really feel like Jeremiah may not be the best wide receiver, but I think he will fit the Bills team. He comes in at 5'9". He's a little short guy, but he knows how to get open. He knows how to work the zones, and he ran a 4.41 at 40. But he's ranked 6th in the 40 time. He's ranked 9th in the shuttle and 5th in the 3-cone. But he also has B+ catching, B+ medium route, B+ catching traffic. Now he kind of reminds me of the guy down there in Oakland, Hunter Renfrow. And if he can play anything like Hunter Renfrow, and the Bills can get that out of him, this will be a solid pick for the Bills, and it'll also help his offense with the quarterback he selected a few years ago and all the running backs that he has in the backfield. Either way it goes, I really feel like if he goes defense with Stackhouse, it'll be an exceptional pick. But if he goes Jeremiah Dixon, he can get that wide receiver in there to help that young stud quarterback that he has. So that's the Buffalo Bills, man, coming in at the number 1 overall pick. Now we're gonna stay in the AFC, and we're gonna go down to the Colts. The Colts come in with the number 2 overall pick, and you have them selecting another cornerback coming off the board, in Jalen Kroom out of Florida State. Tell me, matter of fact, tell me why Kroom is number 2 and Stackhouse is number 1. I mean, what's the difference between those two cornerbacks and why Kroom fits the Colts and not Stackhouse?
It's 1A, 1B, and I think Stackhouse was more talked about during the season. I think he maybe has the better true talent. It could be flip-flop. The Bills could take Kroom and the Colts could take Stackhouse. I personally like Kroom. He played in a lot better competition. He's 5'10". He's 186. He's 22 years old. He still ran really good 40 time. He has really good catching. That's one of his biggest traits, which is really good. So when you got a corner that can go get it and not drop the ball, and, we see a lot of corners in the league, they go for picks and they drop it. So if this guy comes in with a high catching rating and he can run, has high awareness and high man coverage, that's a no-brainer. The Colts need a corner, man. That team is depleted. They have good defensive linemen. They got solid, linebackers, and they got a couple of good players in the secondary. But he's been seeking a corner for a long time. He's been picking up veterans in free agency, haven't been working out. When you play in a division with Addy and he's running your division every single year, you got to be able to, defend the pass. So Kroom's a no-brainer for me at number 2.
Yeah, I like Jalen Kroom, but once again, this is where me and you differ. I'm staying on the defensive side of the ball, but I have him taking Deion Johns out of Virginia. Now, Deion Johns is slated to be a high 2nd overall pick, but I think this guy is a sleeper, man. He comes in with A- pursuit, B power move, B- tackle. Now, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's gonna draft Deion Johns, and he's gonna move him to DT and tag him up with Wayne Brown. He traded for Wayne Brown last year, a guy that he got from the Dolphins. I think Deion Johns and Wayne Brown will make a solid combo and allow him to be able to defend the run. And even though you have a guy like Addy who likes to pass a lot with those Texans, I really think if you can get pressure some kind of way on Watson, you can disrupt that passing attack that the Texans have. So I like Deion Johns, but I like Jalen Kroom too. Either way it goes, he can get Jalen Kroom and have a great cornerback to possibly stop Fuller and what's the other guy name? QT?
QT, yeah.
Yeah.
QT. I was trying to think of what his name.
Yeah. So I think either way it goes, but he may, favor that cornerback position just so he can try to defend that Texans passing attack. So let's move right along, man. We got the Rams coming in at number 3 overall. Now, you have the Rams taking Jordan Street out of Florida. This is a very talented linebacker class, the outside and middle. So why does Jordan Street stand out amongst everybody else, or do you think he just fits the Rams defensive personnel better than any other linebacker?
I think he fits the Rams perfectly with needing another linebacker for the way his defense is designed. He just moved one of his linebackers today, and so he has another hole at linebacker. He needs to pair somebody with Bart Lennon and Darren Lee. So when you're picking this high and you have the opportunity to take a surefire, no-brainer, top-tier talent player, you take it. And Jordan Street's the number 1 linebacker out there. He's actually the number 1 rated player in the draft. and he's got great speed. He ran a 4.59, great acceleration. I mean, he's 21 years old, 6'2", 244. He's a thumper, man. I mean, he's a run-stopping top linebacker. He's got B+ tackle, B+ hit power, B block shedding. I mean, you can't get better than that when you're picking that high and you're looking for a linebacker. I could see the Rams going other places, but knowing Flair, he might take another offensive lineman. You never know. But, I think this was the perfect pick for the Rams, getting this close to high stakes.
Yeah, I like Jordan Street, and I wouldn't mind seeing him team up with Lennon down there. However, when I look at the Rams defensive side of the ball, and I think about the pass, he's lost Fowler, and he lost Samson Yabakam last season in a trade with the Bears. So
with them Bears again, man. Them Bears be plucking them Rams, man.
Hey, I don't know what to say about the Bears owner, man. He makes some pretty good trades, but I have the Rams going defensive end, man, taking Jamison Calvin out of Duke. Now, you don't normally hear about defensive ends coming out of Duke, but man, Jamison Calvin has really made a name for himself.
You don't hear many players come out of Duke.
Nah, I mean, we all know Duke is a basketball school, but the coach down there now is trying to make them known for football. But when you got players coming out like Jamison Calvin, you're starting to put that football program on the mark and get some recruits in there. But Jamison Calvin, man, to me is probably the number one DN in this draft. He comes in at 6'4", 249. A- finesse move, B+ pursuit, B- tackle, and he has a 4.78 40, and he comes in first in the vertical jump, broad jump, 3-cone, and shuttle. So those quarterbacks, man, who trying to make those tight passes through that window, man, he can honestly jump up, get some paws on the ball and knock it down, or make you throw around him. But the one thing that I kind of like about him is 6'4", 249, he comes in with 25 reps. So he's not going to be that little weak, fast D lineman that you always see in that 4-3 defense, or that outside linebacker in a 3-4. He has size, and he has speed, and he has strength. So if the Rams can get this guy at number 3, he can team him up with Atkinson and possibly, Atkinson and Maurice Hurst, and possibly get a pass rush down there to stop those Niners and those Cardinals and even the Seahawks, man. So
well, I mean, when you're giving up like 40 points a game, man, it's like a no-brainer to go defense.
Yeah,
you got to go defense, man. Yeah, and I just don't see him going into their position. Calvin's a baller, man. I mean, he can play stand-up linebacker, defensive end. I think it'd be a great pick if he went to Calvin.
Yeah, good pick. Either way it goes, man. Right, we're going to move right along to the 4th overall pick, and that's where we have the Denver Broncos, man. So I'm going to start off with you once again, Ray McShay. You got him taking my boy Jeremiah Dixon out of Clemson, the little short, fast receiver, man. Tell me about him.
Yo, Darkness, this message is for you, man. I've been telling you for the last 3-4 drafts to pick a receiver. The quarterback needs a receiver, man. You keep picking all these players that ain't helping your quarterback. Go get the best receiver in the draft. He might be 5'9", but the kid's a baller, man. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Hunter Renfrow in the DML this year, but that dude's a baller and he ain't that fast. This dude's Hunter Renfrow with speed. Go get your quarterback a top-notch receiver, man. Stop making him suffer in Denver, throwing to bums and dudes that should be going to the retirement, center. Go get the best receiver. He ran a 4.41, man, like you touched on earlier. High acceleration. He's got great in every catching attribute that you want. When you got a B+ catching traffic and you're 5'9", that means you ain't afraid to go get the ball in the middle of the field.
Right.
And when you play, against the Chargers twice a year, and you got 33 that will knock the block off, you gotta be able to have a guy that isn't afraid to go snag it. So Darkness, again, attention. I hope you watch the show. Please take a receiver, man. Come on, man.
All right, so my man Ray McShay got Jeremiah Dixon going to the Broncos. I have him going cornerback, and We spoke about Jermichael Stackhouse earlier, man, and there's not really too much else I can say about him. He's fast, probably one of the best corners in the draft with the B plus man, B awareness. But I like Jermichael to team up with the cornerback that he selected a few years ago, man, and that was
Powers.
Yes, Powers, Terrell Powers, who's an X factor. So I can see those two guys teaming up and making a great duo to try to stop that Kansas City team that has all those fast, speedy receivers, and to try to stop a Raiders team who has some great receivers also. They have Ricks, they have Hunter Renfrow, and the guy that he drafted a year or two ago. So Stackhouse could come in and be a great part of the defense, but as Ray McShay mentioned, you got to get your young quarterback some weapons, man. And we've been saying this the last few mock drafts. Get your quarterback some weapons and open up the offense. You have the running back. Get your guy wide receiver, man, who he can throw to. So, moving right along, man. This particular team, man, made a great trade last season, and he was banging on the Hawks not having a great season, and the Browns moved up to pick number 5. So we both have them picking linebackers. You got them picking Sammy Mays. I got them picking Jordan Street. And you mentioned Jordan Street earlier because you had him going to the Rams. Jordan Street is the linebacker that everybody wants. Now, the reason I have the Browns picking linebacker is last year he selected a DN, and he addressed a need where he traded Braxton Schechter to the Seahawks. This is how he got this pick number 5. Now, I think he goes linebacker because if you remember a few seasons ago, he whiffed on a pick. He picked Jalen Beckwith out of Wisconsin. And I think he was really hoping that guy could develop and become that star linebacker, but he hasn't. You know, he's just another Jag. So with Jordan Street coming in, this is an automatic starter, man. You plug him in, let him play, and you let him get after the quarterback. So you got him taking Sammy Mays out of Oklahoma. What do you like about Mr. Sammy?
And Sammy Mays, another thumper, man. You know, when you play in the AFC North, when you got a lot of dudes that want to run the rock, you got to be able to stop the run. And when you think of the Browns, you think of Bruce, you think of a nasty defense. He's got the 2 top corners. He's got the 2 pass rushers. He got, you know, a top-tier safety. He's missing that linebacker, you know. And if you can plug in Sammy Mays, who's going to start from day one, I mean, he comes in with an A- tackle, B+ hit power, B+ pursuit. That boy can fly, you know, and he's a sure tackler. I mean, he led his conference in tackles every season he played. You know, when you play, you know, OU, you're playing top tier competition, you know. So when you got those kind of credentials and you're 21 years old and you got that high of a grade, you got to take them, man. Now, I do think the Browns need a third corner. You know, that's one of the weak spots. When you got Greedy and you got Denzel, dudes are going to find that weak spot in your secondary. And I think with so many good corners, he could go there. So I just think the bigger needs at linebacker. But, you know, Sammy Mays definitely worth a top 5 pick. And he would definitely become a top-tier linebacker in this league if he got drafted by Bruce.
Yeah, man, the linebackers in this draft are really athletic. They're really strong, and they can cover from sideline to sideline. So the 2 top, these are probably the 2 best linebackers in this league. So in the draft. So I don't think the Browns can go wrong with either pick. It's just a preference of who they like. Do they like Jordan Street? Do they like Sammy Mays? Do they have ties to Florida, or do they have ties to Oklahoma? So either way it goes, it's a great pick for the Browns. But moving right along, we're going to stay in the AFC North. And we got the Bengals coming in at pick number 6. Now, this is the first pick that me and you have agreed on. So I'm going to let you elaborate on Jakari Posey, the cornerback out of Mississippi State. What do you like about Posey, and why do you think he'll be a great fit for this Cincinnati Bengals team?
Them Bengals are coming, man. And they got a lot of youth on the D-line, a lot of youth in the linebacking core. They need a corner. I think,
get a young guy.
Get a young guy. This guy's 21. He's 6 foot. 6 foot's amazing for a corner. You know, he ran a 4.41. So when you got good size, you can run. That's a bonus. You know, he's a zone corner, but if you look at his press, he has a high press. So I believe he's going to come out with a really good zone abilities. But I think if you can bump his man, because he's already got other good attributes that go along with that, I think this kid may end up becoming the best corner out of this draft. And
that's saying a lot.
That's saying a lot, man. Taz likes some young guys, and I just believe that he needs a corner. I think he's good on offense. I think the biggest weak link in his team right now is corner, and Mr. Posey would be the perfect spot for him to take right here at number 6.
Yeah, Mr. Posey will come right in, man, and he'll probably start. He'll probably be when you put him at number 1 or number 2, because he still has Jesse Bates the third. You still have Trenton Smith, and you got William Jackson, who I think will probably take a back seat to if he selects Jakari Posey.
I think day one Bengals, ownership's gonna look at Mr. Posey and realize that he's a baller and that him and Bates are the future. And I think he would slide him in number 2 because, man, Bates, ever since he made the transition from safety to corner, has been lights out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you got to start him, get him the reps, get the young kid going, because, the Bengals are building for high stakes, and you ain't going to build him up by letting him ride the pine. Gotcha. So I think from day one, he's going to come in and be the number 2 corner.
Gotcha. All right, so we both agreed on Jakari Posey out of Mississippi State going to Cincinnati. Hopefully these guys listen and make this pick. So
doubt it. You know how it goes, man. These guys will pick the most random players, man. And we try to give them that free chicken, but I guess they don't like free.
Hey, all right. So pick number 7, man. We got the Minnesota Vikings coming in, and looking at this team, you got them going DN. I got him going linebacker, but at the same time, I got that linebacker being converted to a DN. Bradley James out of Florida State is a absolute beast. At Florida State, man, I think he finished his career with at least, about 27 sacks. He had about 12 interceptions. So he can cover, he can get after the quarterback, and he can make the right adjustments when time, as far as making audibles on the field. He was that go-to guy. He kind of reminds me of Isaiah Simmons out of Clemson. He can play any position on the field. But being the fact that the Vikings need to create some pressure and they need a D lineman, that's why I had him taking Bradley James and moving him to the DN. Now let's look at these attributes, man. A- pursuit, B awareness, F finesse move. He comes in at 6'5", 251. He's only 21 years old. Has a 40-yard dash of 4.54. First out of all linebackers, he can jump. He has a great free cone. If you take this guy and you put him at DN, he's going to get after the quarterback. When you're looking at the NFC North, those teams run the ball, but they have some teams over there that pass as well. When you put him in at the DN and you get after a guy down there in Green Bay as Teague, he could potentially put some pressure on him and force him into some awkward passes. So I like Bradley James out of Florida State, but if you get him, move him to DN, let him wreak havoc, let him feast on those old linemen and get to the quarterback. Now, you got him going to DN and you got him taking the homie Jamison Calvin out of Duke. Tell me about him.
And like you touched on earlier, man, I mean, he's very similar to Bradley James. I think, Calvin gets the knock because he played a lesser competition and he played for Duke. But when you look at everything, he's one of the best DNs, if not the best DN, in this draft. I mean, when you got A- finesse move, B+ pursuit, and B- tackle, he's going to be a great player. I mean, either if he goes James or if he goes Calvin, they're going to play DN. Yeah. Either one. They're both similar size, similar, weight. I think maybe James is more of the project because he'll be making the transition from linebacker to DN, right. Whereas Calvin's been a DN his whole career. It's a natural position to him. But, I definitely believe that the Vikings will go defense again. He has a lot of great talent on that roster. He's retooled that whole team. And he took a safety last year, which was one of his weak spots, and I believe the other weak spot is the pass rush. So whether he goes James or he goes Calvin, he's getting a great player. You just got to develop him. So going DN is a no-brainer.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like both of these picks, man, and I like the fact that they address a need and they pick Bradley James moving to DN, or they go with the normal DN Jameson Calvin, who's ready and doesn't have to be converted to anything. So moving right along, we're gonna go to the Atlanta Falcons, man, and they're coming in at pick 8, and I have them going back to Florida State and taking Jalen Kroon. Now, the reason I have them, well, we both have them taking a cornerback, but I got them taking Jalen Kroon. And looking at the Falcons secondary, they're very slim at the cornerback position, and they're not that good. So I got him taking Jalen Kroon. We already talked about him, man. This guy would come in and start no matter where he goes. He ran a 4.40. He's out of Florida State, and you know that pedigree down there with Dion back in the day, Jalen Ramsey, all them cats, man. They come out of Florida State and they just know how to play. So recently, I was watching the free agency, and I seen that the Falcons just picked up Troy Apke. But I have him going cornerback because there aren't really that many good. I don't think there are no good safeties in this draft. He needs a safety. So my advice to the Falcons, I would select a cornerback, whether it's Jalen Kroon or Jimmy Terrell, and I would probably move Troy Apke to safety. You know, give Jalen Kroon that confidence where he's not looking over his shoulder, where you got a veteran there. Let that man come in and start and do his thing. So you got him taking Jimmy Terrell. What did you like about Jimmy Terrell out of Ohio?
Jimmy Terrell was one of the top corners, starting out the draft process. He had an up and down, year at Ohio. He played against a lot of small schools, but he's a 4-year player, man. He started all 4 years. A lot of people are going to look away from him saying, he didn't test well or this and that. But at the end of the day, the dude's a baller, man. And if you're the Falcons, if you take any other position besides cornerback, I'm telling you, man, you're going to have another bad season. Another bad season. You got to take a corner. Like Bucky just talked about, man. You didn't take no corners in the free agency. Apke's not a true corner. He's a safety. That cornerback group in Atlanta right now is pretty thin. You let go of Trufant. You let go of some other guys over the years. And dudes, when they see them Falcons on the schedule, they're like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and light it up in the pass game. Go get you a corner. Whether you take Kroon or you take Terrell or you take Juwanna, man, I don't care, man. You take a cornerback and you slide him into that number 1 spot and let that kid go ball, man.
Yeah, he'll have 3 full seasons, man, between, before high stakes. Jalen Kroon or Jimmy Terrell, they'll come in and set the tone in that secondary position, man, and probably start hitting the Twitter, man, to recruit some other guys to come down there so they can, turn things around. But I like Kroon and I like Jimmy Terrell. But what I like the most is we both agreed on the Falcons getting a cornerback. So I think this is a need for them. So let's move on back to pick number 9. And we got the new owner coming in. And he's I got him taking cornerback, and you have him taking Chad Albert out of UCLA. Now, tell me about Chad, man. What stands out about Chad? And why do you think he'll be a great fit for the Detroit Lions?
The Detroit Lions, last year they had taken a linebacker in the first round. He wasn't very good, and they got one linebacker in Heinrich that, played pretty well. He was a pass coverage linebacker, and I think they're lacking another linebacker. And when you get a chance to pick, like I said, in the top 10, and there's a talent like this sitting there, whether you believe linebacker is a need or not, you have to take this player. And Chad Albert, again, another 21-year-old linebacker that can run. He tested tops in the 40s. He tested tops in the, in the agility drills. You can see by his top 3 attributes, he can fly. A- pursuit, B+ tackle, B awareness. He's going to come out really good. And I believe the new owner of the Lions is going to target defense, whether it's, linebacker or in the secondary. I think with him, Albert being available, I think it would be a great pick for them to go and get that top tier linebacker.
Yeah, I like Chad Albert, man, and I would probably put him in probably one of maybe the top 5 linebackers in the draft. So I think Chad Albert will help UCLA. I mean, talking about help UCLA. Well, he did help UCLA win a bowl game and everything, but he's moving past that, and he's trying to get to the Detroit Lions to help them turn things around. Now, you got him going linebacker. I got him going to cornerback, Aldrich Sneed, and looking at his current status of his cornerbacks, he has Josh Jackson, who's 29. He has Isaiah Oliver, who's 28. So those guys are getting up in age, and after that, it kind of drops off tremendously, man. So
Darius Slay retired.
Yeah.
He turned in his notice to the DML and said, "Hey man, I'm done playing for the Lions, man. I'm gonna go ahead and set the house."
Yeah, he was ready to get up out of that, man. So being that he left and that secondary is looking kind of slim, I got him taking Aldrich Sneed out of Notre Dame. Now, I want to say when I go back and look, when you look at the combine grades, he has the highest combine grade out of all cornerbacks. So he's 6 foot, 184, 21. So that's gonna give him time to groom and learn from a guy like Josh Jackson or Isaiah Oliver. Comes in with B- man coverage, B- awareness, and C+ play rec. Now, one thing that I like about him is he has the highest vertical jump at 38.1, but he has 19 bench press, which is the strongest out of all cornerbacks. So that tells me, and I'm hoping, he's he's a physical cornerback, like to get up in your face and play man and press. So if he can be that type of guy and be physical, he can come in and possibly be the number 2 cornerback. I don't know if he's going to beat out Josh Jackson for that number 1, but it just depends on how the organization views him and views his skill set and how he can come in and help this team. So
it kind of reminds me of Byron Jones, a long time ago, coming out, at a UConn, when the Cowboys took him. He wasn't really talked about. Then when he hit the combine, they were like, oh, snap. This guy's got great, speed. He's got great measurables. This kid blew up the combine, and Sneed did that. I mean, like you said, he came out with all these top numbers in all these combine drills, and he put himself on the map.
Right.
So I definitely think he could be a top 10 pick for sure.
Right. Yeah. I like Sneed and I like Albert. So either way it go, we both have them going defense. And I'm always the type of guy, man, I think defense wins championships. So we're going to move right along. And this is the final pick of the top 10. And we got the Tennessee Titans coming in with the 10th overall pick. Now, you have them going Michael Toon out of Michigan. I got him going Chris Huff, the quarterback out of UCF. And Chris Huff came in. He's coming in as the number 1 overall quarterback in this draft. And the reason I got him taking quarterback because for some reason I don't think the Titans really believe or have faith or feel like the current quarterback they have on the roster is the face of the franchise. They got Noah Gates out of Richmond. I just don't think he's that guy. I don't think he has the skill set. He only has 84 throwing power and 95. You go out here and get you a quarterback and get ready for high stakes. You have this season, next season, and another season. Get a quarterback in there, man, and bring in a guy that can be the face of your franchise and be ready for high stakes. Now, I got him going quarterback. You got him going offensive tackle to protect the quarterback that he currently has. So, Michael Toon out of Michigan. What do you like about him?
Man, I think Michael Toon is one of the top, if not the best, offensive linemen in the draft. And we've seen in previous drafts a lot of people were going high on offensive linemen. And the Titans organization the last few years have taken O-line, and he's hit on all of them. I mean, they've all been really good offensive linemen. So I know the Titans right now are in talks of bringing back Marcus Mariota possibly for another season or 2. So I think it might prolong him maybe taking a quarterback this high. And I think if you're right there and you could get that 5th guy and they're all young and all good, what kind of offensive line would he build for high stakes? I mean, you could put any quarterback back there, any running back there, and they're going to block. And he comes out and he has A- impact block, A- run block, power, and B+ run block. And he's projected to go early first round. So if you get one of the top players at number 10, and maybe he should go in the top 3, I mean, that's a steal, man. That's great value. And like I said, he would, round out his 5 offensive linemen and be building himself to, bring Mariota back and not be able to get sacked 100 times in the season, Right. So Michael Toon to me is a perfect fit for him, but he definitely has options at the number 10 spot, and he wouldn't go wrong by picking a quarterback. I think Chris Huff is the best quarterback in the draft, and I definitely think whoever takes him, whether it's the Titans or whoever, is going to get a heck of a player.
Yeah, you mentioned Mike Toon, but I know you made it out to the UCF's pro day. How did Chris Huff look to you, man? Like, how was his throwing? How was his throwing power? What would you grade him?
That boy can sling it. My current DML, player that I think he's most to like is the quarterback from the Packers, man. T. He's not very fast. He'll probably come out really slow. He's a pocket passer, but the boy can sling it. When he at his pro day, man, he launched the ball and threw the ball wherever, however he wanted it. Tight spirals, deep passes, short passes, and at UCF, they don't produce, that many great players on offense. So When he put up the statistics with the receivers that he had and the players they had around him, I mean, he balled out. And, everyone says, people look good in T-shirt and shorts, but he looked good in pads. He looked good in T-shirt and shorts. I think that there's no other quarterback, on his level. I think he separated himself after the combine, after his pro day, as being the best quarterback.
Gotcha. So, hey, fellas, that was a quick rundown of picks 1 through 10 and what we think will transpire in the DML draft that takes place tomorrow night at 10. So, you want to see where these rookies go, man, and who stays in the green room their entire draft or who gets picked early, make sure you tune in to this draft tomorrow at 10 p.m. April the 1st. And there ain't no April Fools either. It's going down. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in, man. Thanks to my homie Ray McShay. And this is your boy Bucky the Buzz Brooks. Till next time, 2026. Get them draft picks ready, fellas. We out.